Warning: the following podcast show that you're about to listen to will include explicit language and content in which you, the members of the audience, may find offensive. Audience discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience.
Yeah, boy.
Where anything and everything is a subject matter on the show, and no subject matter is ever taboo.
Damn, that's what's up with you.
And now, your host with the most, Mr. Kim Hoang. Bro, am I getting paid for this?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What is the word? This is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation. I am the host with the most, the man with the plan, the guy that can bring the power within the hour, and the dude with the right attitude. And we are here once again on another great episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. Coming at you here on location over at the KU Dungeon in Annapolis Junction, Maryland. And it's actually pretty cool because here I can kind of do what I want in terms of hitting my creativity and just doing what I do best with it. Obviously, you know, it's great that I have the love and support of Sean Queen, who is the owner and proprietor of this establishment, and you will hear that name a little bit later on. Just a lot of great things that are happening. I really just want to kind of jump into it now because the fact that I'm in a good mood and there's a reason behind that, it's just incredible. And I have to really just put it out there now. My rule of thumb is that when something good really happens, I just have to speak on it right away. And I have to, just acknowledge it and take care of it before I forget. For some people, you can hold on to that type of thought for a long time, fire it out later on, and it's just like, how you remember it just instantly at that moment. Versus for individuals like myself, sometimes it's like, hey, we have to really put it out there right then and there, otherwise we might forget. So yeah, I'm actually recording right now, wearing a smile on my face. I'm not gonna lie, I'm wearing a smile on my face, and just literally at this very moment in time right now, as we speak, just hours removed from the fact that earlier today I was on set. I was on location filming for Uncalculated, which is the prequel to the Miscalculated movie, which is the movie that started it all. It's a series. Miscalculated was the very first one. We're filming Uncalculated now, which is like the prequel, but picture number 2. And I do believe through the word of mouth from Ramel Xavier Morales, who is obviously not only the director, but one of the main lead actors in this particular series. When I interviewed him a few months back on this beautiful podcast that we call the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, he said he was going to make a series out of it. It was going to be like a 3 movie type thing. Obviously, Miscalculated was the one that started it all. Currently, right now, it's on Tubi for free if you want to go ahead and watch it. Or, if you want to support it, go ahead and buy it off of Prime Video for like $4.99. And you guarantee that you'll see everything in its entirety without commercials. And you will own a digitized copy of the whole project. When I got into the set today, before I even got there, I woke up thinking to myself, wow, this is something that I've been looking forward to for a very long time, and just to be on the set. And not only to be on the set, but more so specifically to be on the set with a lot of people that I knew from the previous movie of Miscalculated, that they were going to be there. And I was really excited about it because a lot of people that were in Miscalculated, I built a really good relationship with them, a good friendship, and it just felt really good to know that they were going to be there. We were all there. We were all interacting with each other. Our characters were interacting with each other as also, not just like the actors of us, but our characters were interacting with each other, and it was just a great moment. I knew that it was one of those things where, like, this day on film day, it was going to be magical and it was going to be great. And every time that I have that in my mind, that I'm going to be on the set and I'm going to work hard and do my very best, I always put my game face forward, and I always put my professionalism right there on my, on the forefront, so everybody knows that I mean business. And I'll give you a great example here. I got to the set at literally at 12:25 p.m. Call time was I had to be there at 1, but I didn't want to be late. I was taught that, if you were on time, you're late. If you're late, God help you. But if you are there early, you are on time. If you're super early, that means you're early. That's the mind frame that I came in. And I was really excited just to reprise the role of Benny Chow. Benny Chow is a character from Miscalculated. He was a bad guy known to do a lot of things. He was known for, selling, weapons, like machine guns and stuff like that. He was also known to be a pimp, selling, like prostitution and so forth. I mean, this guy was like the cream of the crop of villains, and he was really good at his job. He cared about, his money and his honey. And, with a little bit of extra cash on the side, however he can get it, that was Benny Chow. And I reprised that role for Uncalculated, which I was really happy. I was really happy for a lot of reasons. To work with the cast that, I'm very familiar with. People like Paul Cornelius Jerry, a.k.a. Pablo. We also had P.J. Bean. You know what I mean? He's a nice dude that, I have a lot of love and respect for. Let me see. There was a couple of other people that made it on the stage. Obviously, I mean, I was there, although I can't say, oh my gosh, I was so happy to work with myself. I don't think that's how it works. You know what I mean? You can't really say that, but I mean, it was a cool situation, a cool moment. Let me see. There was also a couple of dudes that were on here. If I remember correctly, let me see if I can remember certain names on here. Dane Matthews, he was there, so that was pretty cool. Also, Nabil Malik, who played Frank Mannon, he was there. He's also not only one of the actors, but he's one of the executive producers, as well as Sean Queen. He's an executive producer, and he played Icy, and he actually was there portraying his role of Icy, so that was really cool. And what was really special about this particular project, which I was very happy about, was that I brought in 3 cats from the martial arts, the martial arts industry, or, if you want to say the martial arts community. That's what I did. One person I know through 2 friends of mine that acted in Miscalculated, which, he and I became good friends thereafter. 2 people that I brought in that I knew personally from the martial arts school where I train at. So I brought in some heavy hitters to play my protection team. One dude by the name of Shaq Watson, real nice guy. When you look at Shaq, you're like, dude, the first thing you just notice is that he's a tall fella. This dude is like, 6'5", 6'6", or something like that. Now, I don't think he's pressing 7 foot, but I mean, he's a tall dude. He's a real tall dude, and I understand why people call him Shaq. Not because that's his government name, because it is, but he's pretty much tall like the real Shaq, like Shaquille O'Neal. So that was actually pretty cool, And the fact that he's a black belt in a different style of martial art, like the Kung Tao system of Salat, is pretty amazing. You know what I mean? So it's really cool to really see dudes like him go into, something that's a little bit out of their wheelhouse in acting. And it was wild because, I asked Shaq as a favor, would he be able to help me out with this and play one of my, members of my protection team, knowing that he doesn't normally do this on a regular basis. But he was really cool about it. He was like, yeah, man, I'm down. What do I have to do? I just said, hey, you just have to look menacing. There will be no fight scenes and no stunts. You just, look like you can whoop some butt. You know what I mean? Is the bottom line. He's like, bet, I'm there. I don't have to fight. I don't have to die. I don't have to do nothing of that sort. No stunts. Let's go. Bet. Next case. 2 people on my on the karate school that I train at. One guy got his black belt before I did, who recently was a guest on my podcast show, Mr. Andrew Keating. Real nice guy. And also another guy by the name of Terrell Freeman L., who recently got his 2nd degree black belt and got promoted. So congratulations on to him for earning that a great position and just getting the job done. And with those guys, I just basically asked them the same question, like, hey, if you guys aren't busy, I could really use your help. We're actually filming a scene for this prequel called Uncalculated. It's a good role for you guys that you guys will play my protection team. You don't have to do any fight scenes or any stunts. You just have to look like, you can kick some butt, but you're also having my back and protecting me. And they were really all about it. Mainly because of the fact, I think 2 reasons. One, because they'd never been in a movie before. So it's kind of like, hey, we keep hearing about you doing these things, but we never really had, any idea what it's like. Sure, we're definitely down for the business. And number 2, because I think when you have such great pull in the local community, especially in something like, acting or the martial arts, in this case, the martial arts, if you ask for something, that's reasonable, that really won't cost so much, literally next to nothing, and you don't have to do anything dangerous, 9 times out of 10, I think that they'll be able to say, no problem, let's do it. As long as they have the time to do it and, nothing conflicts, then they're okay. And, it was just great to be on the set, to work with the crew, to work with the cast, to have a good time, to stay, right there, focused as the actor that I should be, the consummate actor. And I'm really happy and proud that we got the job done. And, we wrapped. It was great. I know as of right now that they still have maybe like one more thing to do, maybe 2 things. But as it pertains to me, I am wrapped. And I'm just, looking at the situation and how well it ended and how happy that Romel was. I feel happy knowing that, I was a part of this process and I helped make this come to life. And it's incredible. I feel happy that everybody was on their A game and that they really got the job done. And it just felt like, it was a natural thing to them. Boom, 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 boom. And going forward, I feel happy and confident knowing that now I just want to aim towards, other opportunities as an actor and try to go for, supporting roles or lead roles, because I feel like, for me personally, I feel like I have just as much talent as everybody else does, and I don't think there is a reason why I shouldn't go for it and why I can't have my opportunity as well. And I'm going to take advantage of this situation, and I'm going to make the best of my opportunity here, because now I'm just more motivated than ever to be successful. And that's what I want. I do want to thank the following people. Obviously, Romel Xavier Morales, his wife April Phelps, all the executive producers that I probably mentioned, Sean Queen, Dameron Kirby, Nabil Malik, for believing in me and thinking that I could take this Benny Chow role and make it mine and to be Benny Chow. It's incredible. Who would have thought that a person like myself, a kid from Annapolis, Maryland, born and raised, would have such an opportunity like this? I sure didn't. I also want to thank my one good friend, Nate Nelson, because years ago he told me and referred to me this opportunity in Miscalculated, which created into another opportunity with Uncalculated. If it wasn't for Nate, I would have never known about this. I never in a million years. And I love Nate because Nate is a good friend. He's a good brother. He's somebody that's always looked out for my interest in the acting world, and has always been a great supporter to me. Never hid anything behind my back. Was always a straight shooter, and just was always 100% honest with me, whether if I wanted to hear it or not. And I love Nate for that. I really do. And I'm hoping that with this project, Uncalculated, it's going to be just as good as Miscalculated, maybe even better. I know that they went a little bit of a different direction, according to what I've been told. After reading the script, I get it. And I think that it definitely has the potential to exceed expectations like the previous movie of Miscalculated. And all I really want out of, Romel, the rest of the Miscalculated and Uncalculated team, is to build your success. And as long as if I'm there to witness it and give you as much as support as I can, I definitely will do it. And I'm just happy. And, who knows what's going to happen, in my career of acting. All I know is I'm ready and fired up and ready to go. So why not, Real quick, I also do want to thank, my brothers in the martial arts community, Shaq Watson, for helping me into accepting the role. I really appreciate you, brother. And to my two fellow black belts of the karate school that we train at together in Annapolis, Mr. Andrew Keating and Mr. Terrell Freemanell. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I mean, this really wouldn't have happened without your help as well. And the fact that I was able to reach out to you guys, and you guys were very gracious to help me out, words cannot express how grateful I am. And I know that if Romel was here and the rest of the Uncalculated team was here, they would tell you that they are, they are grateful to you as well. So let me go ahead and do what I got to do real quick. When we come back, we're going to go into another segment. Lots to talk about, but I'm here. I'm fired up and ready to go, man. I'm ready. I'm going to do this right now. So do what you need to do, but come back, because the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience is coming in red hot. to tell you about an amazing store that's really good for all musicians, music enthusiasts, and a whole lot more, which is Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center in Wheaton, Maryland. That's right, you heard it correctly. Since 1958, Chuck Levin's has been actually tearing up the game when it comes to the music scene. And guess what? Since 1958, they have been the store to go to and a must-visit destination for any serious musician passing through our nation's capital. So, if you're actually a person that's in a band looking for a new instrument, such as an electric guitar, an acoustic guitar, a bass guitar, or maybe some drums, if you're a DJ looking for like the greatest DJ equipment, such as turntables and so forth, they got you. Hey, are you actually in an orchestra playing a woodwind instrument, brass instrument, or strings? They got you. They got all the classical instruments that you need. And let's not forget, for all my fellow podcasters, need a microphone? They got you. Need a podcasting vocal track recorder? They got you. They got everything, man. And I'm telling you, it's the best place to go. So if you want to check them out, go ahead and do so, because right here at Chuck Levin's, they're the best. Forget the rest. Mess with the best. Located over at 11151 Veers Mill Road in Wheaton, Maryland. They're open Monday through Saturdays, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. If you want to know more about what they have to offer, you can go over to chucklevins.com online or give them a buzz at area code 301-946-8808. Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center. Like I said before, don't worry about the rest. Mess with the best.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, as we are now entering round 2. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, you know, it's good to be here in the booth and to be here over at the KU Dungeon doing it up. I'm just really glad that I'm actually here recording and making content. I actually took a little bit of a break. I had some people call me and just basically congratulate me on basically rapping on Uncalculated. And, you know, I didn't want to be on the phone too long because I know the type of phone conversation that I can have. And for me, I can talk for days and days and days. Just being that type of person to hold conversations that deeply. Call it, if you want it, as like a natural ability or a gift or whatever. But that's just something that I can do. And to quote a couple of friends of mine, and, you know, for those that don't like profanity, you might want to close your ears on this, but they would be like, damn, Kim, you can talk your ass off for days. And I would just be like, well, you're not lying. That's an actual fact. That is true. So, yeah, I mean, if you ever get a chance to meet me in person, if we ever get a chance to talk, I can hold that conversation for hours, man. You know, that's just the bottom line. But, you know, if I'm able to hold a conversation for that long, depending on the situation, if it's something about something that I know about, I'm probably talking for a very long time because I have a lot of love and respect for what we're talking about. And it's something that I feel passionate about, which is leading now into the second segment, talking a little bit about martial arts. Recently, I have been talking to a lot of martial artists, a lot of people that I know. Some people that I've talked to include instructors, fellow black belts, you know, people within my martial arts community and so forth. And we, you know, there has seemed to be like a little bit of a common theme with what they were talking about that I wanted to discuss about. And that's about actually training in the martial arts on your own. It had been said that when you actually train on your own, not in the martial arts school, you then at that point will not succeed very well. Meaning, like, the higher, how can I explain it in the simplest terms? The chances of you succeeding and doing well of training on your own versus training in a martial arts school in a formal setting is not going to be good, and that you will actually your training will suffer for it. You know what I mean? It's not going to be good as opposed to training with your fellow students at the martial arts school and doing what you need to do. Now, I have to, before I jump into this, I want to use this disclaimer, and I want to go ahead and preface by saying that I love my martial arts family. I think that everything and anything that they bring out to the tables and they want to talk about does bear some meaning. And when you talk about it from a certain standpoint, it's like, okay, yeah, cool, you have some validity in saying that. And it's because you probably had put in a lot of time in training for many, many years to get to the position where you are. Therefore, you kind of have the right to express what you want to express in that way. Okay, cool. Now, I'm not saying that, with that situation mentioned right now, that it's wrong. I'm not going to say that, because I do see a little bit of validity. When one trains on their own, it is very rough. It is hard, for sure. But when you actually train in the school with the fellow students and the instructors, you're following the guidelines and the structure and so forth. You put in the time to understand the material that you need to know, and you start to absorb it a little bit better. And I'm saying at that point, yes, that is true, and I'll give you that 100%. However, if I'm going to be on the other side of the coin, I have to say this. It has been said that when it comes to the martial arts is the art of self-discipline. You're doing it for yourself. You're disciplining yourself. Sometimes when you train by yourself. And you have to take all the self, into that mode of like, hey, I have to be disciplined enough to know that I can do this on my own if necessary. Now, there's some people that I know right now train on their own, at least for let's say for the sake of argument. There are people that have day jobs and their schedule is a little bit weird. It's not consistent. Sometimes they get out early and they could probably make it to that class. Sometimes they have to stay in late, and by the time they're done, they have like travel time, and by the time they get over to the martial arts school, the class is already halfway done. To some people, it's like, man, we don't really know when the schedule is happening. It's just kind of like, we work whatever schedule that we're given, and we can't really do much about it because, either we don't have enough tenure to call the shots, or we're not in a position to really say, I'd rather work this, and this. In a perfect world, for the average Joe that trains in the martial arts, it would be wonderful if we could kind of set the tone and the time of saying, hey, I want to train every day And that means that, maybe I can go to work early and I can leave early by, like, let's say 3:30, beat the traffic, or at least make it to the point that by 3:30 when I leave, I can be there no later than 5 o'clock, which gives me enough time to prepare for the 6 o'clock or 6:30 class. Yeah, we're in it to win it. And I know there are some people in this life that have that same issue. What they have told me is that when they don't go to class, they find ways to make it work where, like, maybe they will train during the week, during their lunch break. They will take their full 60 minutes and train on their own. They will train on their own after hours once that they're done with work for the day. They will also train during the weekends, where they have a lot of free time to do whatever they want to do without, being bothered or worried about, oh man, time this or time that. They could probably, I know one person specifically that on a Saturday would train 3 times in that Saturday. Would train in the morning, take a little break, come back, probably train at like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, take a little break, and then around maybe 6:30 or something like that, or 7 o'clock, train for another hour or two, and they're done. Simple as that. And would repeat the same type of training schedule the following day on a Sunday. Now, I don't see anything wrong with that either, because it's not like you're training at all. You're training on your own. And when you do train on your own, to me, I feel like that does count. You are putting that time, you are putting in that effort. You are trying to work on the necessary information that you need to know and to keep it current, so that way it doesn't get deleted from your hard drive memory of your body, physically as well as intellectually. Now, I can see if you just don't give a darn whatsoever and like your training is actually like at a zero. But for people to train on their own and really put in that time and to do anything that they can, knowing that the class is not available for them at that very moment in time, I have to applaud you. Like, I really do. To make that effort is better than not making any effort at all. I do understand the importance of training in the school, training in class, and making sure to, maintain and know the information. I understand it, and trust me, I'm with you on it, 100%. But you got to give that person credit if they're trying to do anything and everything that they can to make sure that they stay on top of things with their martial arts knowledge. They don't want to lose it. Sometimes they can't help to train at the certain time frames that they do. If they were given a little bit of some liberties and freedoms in their day job, heck yeah, I know for a fact that those individuals would love to say, hey, we're going to do it this way. We're going to get it done. It's just a little bit tricky. And between those two trains of thought, I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think it's more like, what you can do in order to make things work, and whether or not you put in the time to actually train, to maintain, and to do whatever it is necessary to get to that next level. At least that's my train of thought. If anybody thinks that I'm wrong for thinking the way that I'm thinking, not the first time. Not the first time, and probably won't be the last time either. I think that both trains of thought from each side of the coin is very valid. And at that point, you really have to choose the best situation for you. Preferably, if you can go into the dojang, or in this case, to say it more simply, the martial arts school, I think that would be preferred. And yeah, I'm with you on that. But if you can't, and you're just doing everything that you can in order to fill in the gaps, you got to do what you got to do, point blank. So I'm with you. Just don't lose that side of yourself. Your training is something that you've done for years and years and years. And probably for even some of you might be a black belt because of it. And for some of them might be in a position where they're at a higher level of a black belt. So please don't do anything otherwise that may put all of that hard work and knowledge that you've spent years of building on. Don't let that, slip away. Do everything that you can in order to maintain your knowledge and to maintain your information, because that's important. And you never know, it could happen, but you never know when you really would need to use it. Lord knows that I had to use it once or twice in my life. And I'm pretty sure that there's somebody out there that's going to be like, Lord knows I might need to use it once in my life because the situation got hot. And if I didn't take care of it right then and there, it would have been the difference between, me still being here and me no longer being here. You choose the destiny. I don't know. But that's all I'm going to say. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, your greatest segment of them all, the Q&A session. You ask those questions and I'll answer it, and it's going to be a fun one. Do what you need to do, but come right back, because the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience is coming back, and we're just getting started.
In life, we all want to have great health and excellent physical fitness. However, it's never given, only earned. That said, if you want to go to a gym that will help you to get there, then look no further than Kicked Up Fitness at National Business Parkway in Annapolis Junction, Maryland. Their mission at Kicked Up is to provide the ultimate functioning training facility that focuses solely on your success, with a diverse team that's highly qualified and dedicated to taking your fitness goals to the next level. Kicked Up also offers a variety of group classes and personal training programs that provide something for everyone, regardless of your fitness level. They believe in working hard, achieving results, all while having fun. So come visit their facility in person, which is located at 114 National Business Parkway, Suite 100 in Annapolis Junction, Maryland, 20701. Now, if you see my friend Sean Queen, who's the owner of Kicked Up, tell him that Benny Chow of Miscalculated sent you, and he'll hook you up with a complimentary 7-day pass just to try it out. Need more info? Give him a call. 410-888-9066. Email them at kufitnessnbp@gmail.com or visit them at their website at www.kufitnessnbp.com. Kicked Up Fitness. Never given, only earned.
And now, back to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience with your host, Kim Hoang.
Hey, welcome back everybody to the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, as we are now winding it down. Great episode today. A lot of great things that we were talking about. A lot of great excitement, a lot of great energy. But everything as we know it, all good things have to come to an end. But before we actually close it down, here is our usual statement that we give during this time of our podcast, which is the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience is asking for help on a voluntary basis to anyone that would like to assist our podcast show by the ways of sponsorship or financially donating to our podcast show to help make the quality of our podcast that much better. Everything that we raise, all the proceeds that we get, will go towards getting better equipment and more equipment. So such equipment that we need, like microphones for our in-studio guests, the XLR cables that are required for those mics, headphones for our in-studio guests, and even a MacBook Pro, which is the official computer that we use to edit and to make sure that every episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience is at 100% top quality for your enjoyment. Whatever that you guys can donate financially, that's great. Insert the joke. If you can donate like $5 million, that'd be incredible, but I don't foresee that happening, but we would appreciate it. You never know, as I would say. And, if you want to donate as little as $5, every little bit helps, and we would appreciate your assistance. And you can make a donation by doing the following. You can either go to PayPal and or Venmo. I think that both of them are not only apps on your smartphone device, but I believe that PayPal is definitely www.paypal.com. Venmo, I'm not sure. But donate. Go ahead and use our tag name, or my tag name, at Kim Hoang MD Actor. Once again, that's at KIMHOANG MDACTOR. And then there's another method that you can use, Cash App, which is available on all types of smartphone devices, whether it's iPhone or any Android phone device. Donate by using the tag name $ Kim Hoang MD Actor. Once again, that is the $ KIMHOANG MDACTOR. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. You know what we're here for now. This is it, and we're going to go ahead and do it. We have the Q&A forum, question and answers. You ask the questions, and we will do our best to answer it. Normally, we have 7 questions, but lately I've been very generous. So now, instead of 7 regular questions, we do have 2 bonus questions for a grand total of 9 questions. And I feel pretty damn hot about it. Man, I'm excited. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. Let's just do this damn thing. So yeah, it's definitely on like Donkey Kong. We're ready to go. We're ready to do it. Here's the questions. Dun 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 dun. Here we go. Question number 1, Kim, if there is a piece of technology that you miss using, what would it be? Kat from Springfield, Illinois. I don't know if it's pretty much a piece of technology, as I would say that it was just a device that I used back in the day when I was a kid. But I actually missed the old school answering machine. That machine that you had bought, and there was like a little bit of a mini cassette tape. You would record a greeting message, and then once it was done, it would just go ahead and record the message for anyone, and you would say, example, you would hear like the machine say, hey, you try to reach us at 240-555-1234, and we're not in right now, so please leave your name, your number, and a brief message, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can after the beep. Beep, and then that's when you would actually make your message. And I missed that type of thing. I thought it was a pretty cool invention for the time, but obviously since that time, now it's not even an answering machine, it's a voicemail. We have it as a kind of like a standard thing that we have on our smartphone devices, whether it be iPhone or any type of Android phone device. So there you go. Question number 2, Kim, did you get to enjoy your summer this year? Mark from Sacramento, California. Mark, I didn't get to enjoy it as much as I really wanted to. It wasn't to say that it was a very terrible or bad summer. It's just, I didn't go to the beach. I didn't go to a swimming pool. I didn't have that type of situation. And I feel bad that it didn't work out. But overall, I'm happy about it. Like, it was cool. So yeah, I'm definitely happy that, at least I had a summer. It wasn't quite the dreamboat summer that many people want to have, on an every year annual basis. So, oh well, no big deal. Question number 3, Kim, what is more important when it comes to a dating relationship? Jasmine from Tampa, Florida. Wow, Jasmine, that you hit. That's a very good question, and I actually was talking to a female friend of mine a while ago, earlier in the week. I think that what's more important when it comes to dating any person in a relationship is that, number one, that you're honest with the person, because honesty is the best policy. When you're honest with the person, you're not going to get caught with the lie. And when you're honest with the person, they can't hold it against you because, you were very forthcoming. So I think that honesty is a really good policy there. Communication is very important. People are not mind readers. So obviously, you want to talk to people and let them know what's going on in your life, whether if you're having a good day, if you're having a bad day, if there's something that is on your mind that you need to get off your chest, if there's something that you don't know about that you need to make that discussion. I think that's important. Communication is important. And last but not least, what's very important in a relationship is just not only you, but the other person, you guys are giving respect to each other. If you don't give respect to each other, that is a relationship that is doomed from the start. So I think those are the 3 most important things that you can have and that you need in order to make a dating relationship a very successful one. Just my opinion. Question number 4, Kim, are you a pancake or a waffle guy? Richie from Asheville, North Carolina. Oh, man. Well, I love them both. Basically, it's the same ingredients. It's just kind of cooked differently. One is cooked on like a non-stick skillet or a non-stick pan, and the other one is on a waffling iron. Now, I like them both, but if I had to choose, I am a waffle guy. To be more specific, I'm a Belgian waffle guy. I don't like the Eggo waffles because I feel like it's just a little bit too small and it's too thin. I like something with a lot of fluff, and I like a lot of stuff with, a waffle with dimension and space, and that's where the Belgian waffle comes in. That's just, what I feel. Question number 5, Kim, if there was one thing that you could change about yourself from any point in your life, then what would it be? Claire from Clemson, South Carolina. Damn, that Claire, good question. Yeah. Off the bat, I would probably say if I could change one thing, in one point in my life, anywhere in my life, was to be a better student. Not to say that I was the most terrible student in the world. Obviously, I did okay because, I graduated high school and I did my time in college. Some people didn't even get that far. And if I would have been a little bit more of a better student and really give, my full concentration and emphasis on doing a little bit better with my grades, I think I probably would have done a lot better in my life, I think. But then again, you'll never really know because stuff that I've done in my life has brought me to this point, and, I'm grateful for it. But I think that if I got better grades in school, it just probably would have been a little bit more better. Like, I probably think that doors would probably have opened a little bit more, in my opinion. But, hey, you live and you learn. And just because that this didn't happen does not mean that I'm a bad person. Didn't mean that I failed in life. It's just that everybody kind of did their own thing to find their method of success. So that's where it's at. Question number 6, Kim. What is one thing people are surprised to learn about you? William from Midland, Texas. William, I think the one thing that people are surprised to learn about me is that I am allergic to just the darndest things. I'm allergic to shrimp. I can't eat shrimp. That's the one thing that I think people are really shocked about. They're like, oh my God, really? Something as simple as shrimp? I love eating shrimp. I used to love eating shrimp too until I got allergic to it. So I think that's one thing right there. Another thing is that I am allergic to cats. Not that I hate them. I love them, but I'm allergic to them. So I think those are the two things I think. Well, not just one, but now two things I think people are surprised about. It's just my random allergy situations. So there you go. Question number 7 to end the normal round of the Q&A. Kim, is there a food that you never ate before that you would love to try? Maria from Youngstown, Ohio. Very good question. I think that, off the bat, I think that the one thing I've always wanted to eat that obviously I never had, and because it's more of a geographical thing, is fugu. Fugu is a type of blowfish in Japan, and you have to actually have a chef that's licensed to deal with it because they're trained on how to actually take care of fugu the right way. Because, the trained licensed fugu specialist can actually differentiate the difference between what is tasty of the meat of the fish versus, cutting the unnecessary poisonous parts like the organs and the skins and so forth, because if you don't know how to do it correctly, you can accidentally touch part of the poison sac, and you could risk puncturing it, and it could ruin the entire meat. And then when you eat it, you unfortunately may cause major issues, including death. There's no cure for eating poison from the fugu blowfish. However, though, if you go to a specialist, a chef that is licensed and knows what they're doing, the fugu is actually really good. Like the meat of the fish tastes like any other type of, white fleshed, fish. You know what I mean? So I would definitely like to try it just to say that I did it. That's probably it. And if I live to tell the tale, maybe I'll roll the dice again. Who's to say? Who's to say? Now we got the bonus round, ladies and gentlemen. The bonus round. Dun, 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 dun. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and go for it. Question number 8. Kim, do you have any advice on choosing designs for tattoos? Phil from Norman, Oklahoma. Phil, you have to understand that tattoos are forever. That is permanent. I mean, once you got it in your body, that's it, bro. I mean, there's no going back. Unless that you can afford the laser tattoo removal, which does cost an arm and a leg. That's the only sure way of getting rid of that. You could cover it up, but you better make sure that you cover it up with the right type of design. I've seen people that went into deep and they chose a design that they liked at the time, and then they didn't anymore, and it had no meaning, and they ended up either getting tattoo laser removal or a complete blackout, which is like they literally tattoo your whole part of your body black just to erase that memory. So if I had to give a piece of advice, pick a design that you like, that means a lot to you, that you don't mind having that on forever. That's why for me and my tattoos that I have, I picked out Japanese tattoos because I like to see that, that type of art. I feel like that type of artistry is very beautiful. Even though I'm not Japanese, it's a part of the Asian culture, and it's a way for me to be a little bit more close and embracing my Asian culture. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. That's all that I'm doing is, doing designs that I like. So I'm picking Japanese. And, whether if you pick like American traditional or Japanese, or you do like, biomechanical, maybe you might do nude school, maybe you might do hyperrealism or whatever. Choose something that you love that you won't regret. Don't get a girl's name. Don't get, anybody's name of that sort unless you're related to that person, like, a child that is yours, or maybe your mom's name or something like that. But don't, pick something that makes sense and something that you'll love. Last question, and then we're going to go ahead and run it and say goodbye. Question 9, Kim, any thoughts on how all smartphones, including iPhones and Android phones like Samsung, are all now USB-C versus USB-A or the classic iPhone Lightning port or 30 port? Sharon from Las Vegas, Nevada. Sharon, I think it's great that all phones are USB-C now, because it definitely helps people out in many instances when it comes to like, hey, I need my phone to be recharged. Okay, what kind of, charging port does it take? If you say USB-C, let's say you have a USB-C and they have a USB-C, then you don't have to worry about, oh, cool, it doesn't matter if it's an iPhone or whatever. It just takes one type of charging device or charging type and you're good to go. Boom. Easy. One and done. It really was inconvenient when a lot of people, iPhone people had this type of charger and this type of charger, and they would talk to other people and they'd be like, I can't help you because I don't have that type of phone. I have an Android phone. And then there was like a lot of, worry, at least that here and now there is just a standard and it's good. I think with USB-Cs, and depending on the type of power plug that you plug, the electricity in, it charges a lot quickly because your battery of your phone is now more designed to that and it can handle it. And I think it's good. I think it's on the right track, and I think it's kind of like a way for, Android and iPhoneers to kind of like, universally come together in peace and harmony, at least in my opinion. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We have done it. I am glad that we have done it. It's awesome. And we are about to get on out of here. As always, you can find us on a lot of social media pages, such as Facebook. Just go under the search box of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience, and we'll be there. We are on Instagram and Twitter, now known as X. Find us under the tag name at TKHPC Experience, all in one word, lowercase letters. If you follow us, we'll follow you back. We are on 6 podcasting platforms, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, Audible, and iHeartRadio. Now, do us a favor. Please like our podcast and subscribe to it on all of those mentioned podcasting platforms. If you have Spotify, please give us a 5-star ranking, and we would definitely appreciate that. If you have Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star ranking and a great written review, because the more times that you do that, then that means the more times that, our podcast could possibly be thrown at the front of the lines, get, instant notice, and it'll be good. Somebody could be like, yo, the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. I remember that George was telling me about this. I should probably follow it, like it, subscribe to it. Yes, on all accounts, for sure. You know what I mean? It's important. And do us a favor. Please share our podcast through all of your social media platforms, as like the Facebooks and, the the Twitter, now known as the X, and the Instagrams and the Snapchats, and also we also have that one that everybody likes so much. You may know it by the name TikTok, so share it there, or just go to a person that you know and share the information in person, whether if it's a friend or a family member or if it's a coworker. We really do appreciate it. Again, that is what it's called, brand awareness, and sharing is caring. So we do appreciate that. Last but not least, if you want to be a special guest on our show, or if you want to be a special guest host, if you have any constructive criticisms, if you have any questions for our Q&A segment, please email us at the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience at gmail.com, whatever the subject is. Put it in the subject box, and then after you write the subject, go ahead and write the email out and then send it to us, and we'll get back with you within like a day or two. We will read it and communicate back, because we do like to do those type of things, and it's very important that if you talk to us, we talk to you. That being said, we are running out of time. I want to say thank you to everyone who has joined us and had a good time here. We really appreciate it. Please be safe no matter what it is that you do in life, because life is too short to do things that you're not supposed to do. And we want you to be safe, and we want you to be happy. We don't want you to be doing something that is not advisable for you to land in a pine box and get buried 6 feet under. We want you to be healthy and happy because we love you. We think that you deserve the best, and we want you to succeed. And anybody else that tells you otherwise, that you're not worthy of it, tell them to go, flip themselves and to go ahead and kick rocks, because we're here about loving people and supporting people, not hating people, So that's the bottom line. That being said, I got to get going, guys. Thank you so much for everything. We do appreciate it. We love the fact that you have been supportive of our podcast. And as always, we say that, we do it for you guys, not just for us. This is not only our podcast, it's yours too. So that being said, for the one time here at the KU Dungeon in Annapolis Junction, Maryland, this is your boy Kim Hoang, the Asian sensation, the host with the most, the man with the plan, the guy that can bring the power within the hour, and then the guy that, the dude with the right attitude, saying thank you, we love you, we appreciate you, be safe, be well, and we'll do it again in another episode of the Kim Hoang Podcast Experience. You know the deal. We love y'all. Be good. Peace.